Neighbors, grab your tea, lock the doors, and maybe put on a helmet, because I honestly have to pinch myself to make sure I haven't woken up in some parallel universe where up is down and wrong is right. It has been 3 years to the day since we lost our beloved late Queen Elizabeth II. And while the real royals are marking the occasion with the quiet dignity and grace we have come to expect from them, Prince Harry has decided to descend upon the United Kingdom with a list of demands so delusional they would make a diva blush. We are talking about a man who abandoned his duty, trashed his family on a global stage, and wrote a book detailing the most intimate and damaging secrets of the monarchy, now marching back in and demanding security, press control, orchestrated by Buckingham Palace. And get this, he actually wants his wife, the woman who mocked our queen with that grotesque curtsy on Netflix, to be treated as Her Royal Highness, complete with bows and curtsies. Now I know you guys are excited for more. But before we delve into further discussion, if you haven't subscribed, come on guys, what are you waiting for? Hit like, subscribe, and ring that notification bell ASAP. So now, it is absolutely maddening, and frankly, it is insulting to every single one of us who has stood by the royal family through the mudslinging and the lies. You have Prince William and our beautiful Princess Catherine paying tribute to the late Queen with an engagement in her honor, showing us exactly what service looks like, while the runaway prince is treating this solemn anniversary like a negotiation for a contract renewal. It seems like the prodigal son is looking to make a comeback, but let me tell you, the rumor mill is spinning faster than a centrifuge, and it is saying that he is not going to get the warm reception he seems to think he is entitled to. In fact, he might just be walking into a trap of his own making, because the patience of the palace has finally run dry. There's been a lot of clamoring, a lot of noise from the public and from inside the institution itself to revoke the titles of the Duke and Duchess of Sussex from these wannabe royals who want all the glitter without the grit. Meghan Markle and Prince Harry have taken it too far with how they use those titles to merchandise their grievances, and it is finally catching up to them. Harry is here for the Well Child Awards, a charity he is patron for, and credit where credit is due. It is a good cause, but the shadow hanging over this trip is so thick you could cut it with a knife. We don't know if he will see his family, but considering a representative for the Duke declined to comment and Buckingham Palace stayed silent, which they usually do on personal matters, the silence speaks volumes. The writing is on the wall, and it is being written in bold permanent marker by King Charles himself. With the reports swirling about the removal of Prince Andrew and Sarah Ferguson's titles, effectively downgrading the king's own brother because of the shame brought upon the house, there are whispers that this has given Prince William the green light to do exactly what he has been wanting to do for years. William is looking at his brother and his sister-in-law, and he is seeing a liability. He is seeing a threat. He is seeing a cancer that needs to be cut out before it spreads any further and swallows the monarchy whole. It is a harsh analogy, but it is the only one that fits, because ever since they left, they have done nothing but attack the host that gave them their platform. Harry has said he wants to mend the relationship, especially since his father's cancer diagnosis. And we all saw that dash across the Atlantic earlier this year for a meeting that lasted less time than a lunch break. 45 minutes. He hadn't seen his father in months, and he gets 45 minutes. That is not a reconciliation. That is a dismissal. And now he wants a dialogue with his brother? It seems unlikely, and frankly, it seems delusional. William is not the same man he was 5 years ago. He is the Prince of Wales. He is the future king. And if there is one thing the future king has been very vocal about in private circles, it is that his vision for the monarchy is very different from his father's. King Charles holds on to sentiment. He is a father first and a king second in some moments, torn between the love for his son and the duty to the crown. But William? William is all about survival. William is about protecting the legacy that his grandmother built and that he will one day inherit. Meghan and Harry are part of the chaos that threatens that legacy. Harry grew up behind the gates of the palace. He had a place within the royal family that was carved out just for him. He was the adored spare. the war hero, the fun prince. He abandoned the home he grew up in, the people he grew up with, and the people he served. And for what? For a podcast that was canceled? For a jam brand that nobody is buying? For a life of moaning in a Montecito mansion while the world burns? He wanted out. He told us he wanted out. So with his wife back in 2020, he did just that. But he took something with him that he shouldn't have been allowed to keep. He took the dignity of the Duke of Sussex title and dragged it through the mud of reality television and tabloid gossip. Now it is looking like his brother is gearing up to take that back. Not long after Charles was crowned, the world found out about his cancer battle. It slowed down the king's pace and forced him to clear his calendar. And in that vacuum, we have seen who is really running the show. Inside sources say it is William who is taking the reins while his father tends to his health. And if that is the case, that is definitely not good news for the Sussex squad. William is efficient. William is ruthless when it comes to protecting his wife and children. And let's be honest, he has every right to be. We all remember what Harry wrote in Spare. We remember the attacks on Catherine. We remember the leaks about the bridesmaids' dresses, and the lip gloss, and the baby brain. You don't just get to say, oops, sorry, and come back to the Christmas table after that. King Charles, at the end of the day, is still a father, and sources say he hit a roadblock when it came to handling his son and daughter-in-law. He is torn, he stalls, he doesn't want to be the king who stripped his own son of his birthright. But William? William sees the bigger picture. He sees that every time Meghan uses that Duchess title to sell a lifestyle product or to lobby politicians, it chips away at the neutrality and the majesty of the institution. He wants to drop the hammer and take the necessary steps to remove any and all threats to the reputation of the palace. And make no mistake, they are a threat. We saw a glimpse of the old Harry at the Wellchild Awards, jousting with a balloon, smiling, looking like the guy we used to love. It was almost nostalgic. It made you want to root for him for a second. But then you remember the context. You remember that while he is playing the good guy in London, his wife is back in California, allegedly fuming that she isn't getting the Royal Highness treatment she thinks she deserves. She wants the bows. She wants the curtsies. She wants the security that comes with the job she quit. It is the height of hypocrisy. They want the perks of the job without the work. They want the respect without the responsibility. And let's not forget the security issue. Harry pins on and on about how unsafe he feels in the UK and how he needs the British taxpayer to pay for his security. But he is very happy to reveal in his book about his 25 Taliban kills, effectively putting a target on his own back and the backs of his family. It doesn't make sense. It is a contradiction wrapped in an enigma, wrapped in a very expensive suit. Prince William is tired of it. He is tired of the drama. He is tired of the distraction. He knows that as long as Harry and Meghan have those titles, they will use them to monetize their connection to the family. And every time they do, it drags the Windsors down with them. There are whispers that Prince William is even unhappy that Beatrice and Eugenie were allowed to keep their titles while their father is in disgrace. It shows a consistency in his thinking. If you aren't working for the firm, you shouldn't be benefiting from the brand. It is a business decision as much as it is a personal one. King Charles allegedly didn't want to punish the girls for the crimes of their parents, but William is looking at the sleek, modern, slimmed-down monarchy of the future. And in that future, there is no room for part-time royals who trade on their titles for Netflix deals. Harry is deep in trouble. We know the financial pressures are mounting. The Spotify deal is gone. The Netflix deal is hanging by a thread. The jam failed to sell out or even make a splash. If you think about it, why should the people who don't carry out the responsibilities enjoy the benefits? It is the question everyone is asking. In every book Sarah Ferguson authors, it bears the title Duchess of York, and that follows her into every scandal. The same goes for Meghan. Every deal carries her title. It links her back to the king, and the future king doesn't want that anchor around his neck anymore. Harry detailed a moment in his book where William fought with him, physically attacked him, he claims. He painted his brother as a villain, and at every interview he stood by it. He was unapologetic. He burned the bridge and then nuked the foundations. Now he wants to play the life is short card. He wants to leverage his father's illness to worm his way back in. It is desperate. It is transparent. And nobody is buying the sob story anymore. He can't dig himself out of the hole he caused. Prince William isn't looking to mend relationships. He is looking to strengthen an institution. He knows he has to make tough calls. He isn't moved by pretentious visits or words that carry no weight. The removal of the titles has been a long time coming. The public agrees. We are tired of the Duchess of Sussex preaching to us about poverty while wearing $100,000 worth of jewelry. We are tired of the Duke of Sussex lecturing us on climate change from a private jet. It is the entitlement that grates on us. And now that they realize the Bank of Pa is closed and the adoration of the public has turned to indifference or disdain, they are scrambling. They are panicking. Harry is flying across the Atlantic to try and put a stop to this, to try and save the one thing that makes him relevant. Because without that title, who is he? He is just a man who gave up everything for a woman who isolated him from everyone who ever truly loved him. If this is taken away from Harry, he is literally nothing in the eyes of the elite circles he wants to run in. He becomes a cautionary tale, a former prince. And as for Meghan, well, we all know the evil mastermind operates on opportunity. If Harry loses the titles, he loses his value. And if he loses his value, how long do you think she will stick around? The walls are closing in on the Montecito Palace. The game is almost up. William is winning the battle. Not because he is fighting dirty, but because he is standing firm. He is protecting the crown, he is protecting his wife, and he is protecting us, the people, from having to endure another decade of this Sussex circus. The demands for bows and curtsies, that was the final straw. You do not demand respect. You earn it. And Harry and Meghan have spent the last 4 years spending every ounce of respect they had. It is over. The only question now is when the official announcement comes. And when it does, I will be right here, cup of tea in hand, ready to say, I told you so. This has been your friendly neighbor critic, signing off. Make sure you hit that like button if you think William should strip the titles today, and tell me in the comments, do you think Harry will ever wake up from this nightmare, or is he too far gone? I read every single one of your comments. Stay safe, stay loyal to the real royals, and I will see you in the next video. Ta-ta, and bye for now.